Hey guys, it's Sam. Today I'm going to be doing a flip through of my almost completed 2021 weeks. I have some moving over of things. I'm definitely starting to get the itch to move into my newer weeks, which I have mostly set up. I'll hopefully be sharing all of that with you in a different video. I had hoped to film multiple videos, but we've all come down with the plague, and I don't think that my voice can do more than one video, so we'll see how this goes. If you haven't been here before, welcome. My name is Sam, and if you're a regular viewer, thanks so much for joining me again. So I'm going to mostly go over this entire planner. I was very hesitant in sharing like my cycle tracker pages, but I think I'm going to share those too. I have some like other things that I've covered up as far as the journaling goes. I think I've used Post-its to kind of censor some names and things that I didn't want to share. But other than that, you'll be able to see most everything that I've done in this planner for the whole year. One of them is every year I go through and just put some stickers that will make me smile when I see them, and this has definitely been like one of my favorites for sure. I'm pretty simple. I like liking earthy things and sassy things, so basically that's what you're gonna see in my planner. This is like bothering me, so I'm just gonna mention it. I went to give my dog a bite of food the other day and I didn't tell him easy first, so like his tooth chomped down on my thumb, and he didn't break the skin, but it like made a blood vessel break underneath, so my thumb's not falling off. My golden retriever just decided to try to eat my thumb. He got his snack though, so it was fine. This was like a landing page for me for some Post-its, which I don't know, I didn't utilize this, and you can tell because this note has been here forever. I did use a few of these throughout the year, but this partial menu plan just sat here and didn't go anywhere or ever get finished. So I'm not even sure why I have it there or when I put it there, but I'm probably gonna do something similar for 2022 and then not utilize it correctly. These are like clearish, I don't know what the word is called. Part of being sick is having like a brain fog. But these are from Cloth and Paper, and these are from Paper Minty Studio. These you can use any pen on, and this you need like a Sharpie or something permanent. I can kind of use the Uniball Jetstream on it, but it doesn't always write on there. So if you want something like that, you definitely need the correct pen. And then I don't utilize this very much either. I usually put a family photo here. I don't know why I never did. This is a piece of vellum from Martha Plans, and her shop isn't open anymore. I actually think I'm just gonna, this is washi tape here, so I'm just gonna actually swipe this out of here, and I'm gonna use it again for this year because I can't get that vellum now that her shop isn't open, and I really like it. So I'm stealing it now so that I can use it for this year. This is an index tab, and this is from, oh gosh, what's the Avery? I think it's Avery, and I purchased it from Walmart, and it's got like silver and bronze and gold. And I just have this here flagged to like my cycle tracker, and this is for like cycle symptoms. I do suffer from PMDD, and so I have been highlighting when I was anxious. You can see like when part of PMDD is like getting really angry over like silly things, and I like call that like my crazy times because I feel like I can't control my emotions, and so I have tracked that as well here. As far as some like vitamins that I had been taking, trying to like supplement a lot of those symptoms that I had that went along with that. I have a very similar system planned for 2022. I have changed it from highlighting, however, which I wasn't really consistent with because I didn't always have my highlighter with me, to only pen so that I won't have to worry about that. And then I don't utilize the monthly pages as much as a lot of other people do. I don't have like the header or whatever here that I usually have because this was before the beginning of 2021. I did use it before the start of the official year last year because I hadn't been using my Hobonichi weeks consistently in 2020. And so I was just like excited to move into a new planner and have a fresh start. This was the only month that I attempted to do any kind of habit tracker here, and I hated the way it looked because of how like scrunched up my handwriting got in writing out the numbers, and I never liked the way it looked, and so I never did it again. These are from Mandy Lynn Plans, then these little ones are also from Mandy Lynn Plans shop. And I do attempt to track my YouTube and birthdays, any kind of trips that we're on vacation. I track those kinds of things here. I don't usually track a lot of other things, and we don't have a lot of like extracurricular activities, so these monthly views generally don't get like super busy looking like a lot of people. And then I have rarely decorated in it for 2021. And I guess the exception to that would be I always am a more of a decorative person, like in the fall and Christmas. So the most decorated was for December for me this year. I do like to use the Tombow to highlight if we're going to be out of town as well. And then I use this as some forward planning, and then a forward planning for like the months that this planner didn't hold going forward, because I knew the dates of those things. And I put it on this month because I had already had written things here, and I was afraid that if I put it on March that I wouldn't think to turn the page because it was only one item. So like I said, I started this when you could start it last year, which is not my usual, but I did it because I had been so inconsistent with my planning otherwise. I started out the year using a friction pen, which had been kind of a staple for me. I think I got bored of using the same pen for so long, and I wanted to try something new. I get very particular with this paper specifically, and so I get stuck in a rut quite a bit. The problem, I think, is that I feel like my handwriting has to go through like an adjustment phase when I try something different, and then for a while I don't like the way my handwriting looks, and so then I want to bounce back to what I had been using, and then I don't get to try anything new. I'm actually in that particular position right now, and I'm struggling with it. The problem with the friction pen, even though I love the pen, is that you can, if you're like, especially on this really fine paper, if you're like 3 pages away and you go to erase something, it can erase through a couple of pages if you're not careful, which obviously I wasn't, because I did erase through to this one. And the other thing is you can't just highlight over it. So you'd have to go in and highlight the area that you think you're going to need and then write in afterwards. You could highlight over it, except the writing from the friction pen does get quite a bit lighter as you highlight over it. So I wasn't really a fan of that. A little hard to tell, but I did cut out pages. If I was like trying to switch pens and I hated it, I would cut out pages from the floral weeks that I had originally chosen for the year before I went to Mega, and I would cut those out and then paste them in. I think that I've definitely found my groove with this. A few things have changed throughout the year, but for the most part, I like to track the weather here. It works well. I feel like it helps break up the page. I like the way it looks. For a lot of this year, in the beginning, I definitely utilized the whole space horizontally. That definitely changes as the year goes on. But the weather, I don't know. I've been doing the weather there for years now, and I don't see me changing that up. I did have several weeks where I left this planner, and at the end of this year I went back and filled it in with the personal and A6 pages that I had been saving back from my rings, and filled those in just so that I could have a complete year altogether. So this, if there's not a lot going on this side, it was probably one that I went and back planned like this. This week I didn't even try. So this is when we had gone south when my husband was doing his adopted dad's memorial and finally got to see the ocean. And this was the week we came back, and I had a very severe sunburn and I was in a lot of pain, and I had to take time off work because of it. Like, it was messing with my blood pressure and everything. Like, it was not good. So I didn't have anything written in my planner really to transfer over to the weeks. And then I didn't use my stencil to do the weather. I just wrote in what it was. But yeah, this was a difficult time because we had lost Rick's dad in January, and then this is when it was his memorial several months later, because everybody was still recovering from COVID back from in January, not our family, but his family. And then I came home and my dad was really sick, and then my dad ended up passing. So all of that happened in the same month, and it's been a really difficult year. But this is when I went back to the Hobonichi weeks, and then I stayed in it for the most part the whole year, I think. Yeah, I think so. Pretty sure. This was a week that I attempted to do fountain pen. This was my pilot vanishing point. I don't know. I feel like it looks okay now, but like as I was using it, I just kept feeling like there was smearing, and that was stressing me out. And I was like, well, this is probably not going to work long term. This is another one of the pages I can feel that I like doubled up and covered over. So something happened there that I didn't like. But I definitely enjoy this planner. I don't know what I did there either. This is just kind of, I think that it's as close to planner piece as I have found with anything that is out right now. I do love the one book aspect. I like knowing that I can just go back and look at everything that happened in the year in this one space. This is when I started using the felt tip pens from U Brands, which I do have linked in my Amazon, and you can also find at Target. This is Paper Mini Studio washi tape, which definitely got me back into the habit of using washi tape at the bottom of my planner, which you could see I wasn't consistent with. Really love this like nighttime mushroom one so much. And then I'm just more prone to decorate around the holidays. This was another fountain pen. I think this might have been when I got my olive green Quaco for my birthday. I was really trying to do fountain pen again, but it didn't work out. I really have enjoyed using this felt tip pen. It's a little darker than I was used to, but I feel like the way it glides over the paper, it causes me to be a little bit slower and neat with my handwriting. I don't care about the boldness of it, although I usually don't. I think it's because it's not just a bold black. Looking at it in person, it's ever so slightly grayed from a regular bold black, and that made me feel better about it. Also, it does take a second. You can't like immediately go and highlight over it, but if you wait just a second, you can highlight over it instead of like pre-highlighting, which I had to do with the friction pen, so I did appreciate that. Adding a little bit more deco in, which is unusual for me. Again, I really like decorating this time of year. This was another week that I had to paste another page on. I don't know. Oh, I was like, I don't know why I don't have anything listed over here. It's because I left space. I still haven't printed off my photos for this because I have the Canon Ivy, and although I have had it and loved it for several years now, I think those zinc printers just get to the point where they stop having like really good quality prints come from them, and that's the place where my printer is now, and I'm looking into a replacement for it. And I don't know, it's the Canon Ivy is a little bit higher than some of the other ones, and I do have the Canon Selfie, like the bigger one, but it doesn't have sticky paper with it, or at least you can get sticky paper for it, but it's not as easy to find as just like walking into a store and getting the zinc paper. So right now I'm doing research on what I want to replace that with, whether it be another Canon Ivy or a different one, just using the Canon Ivy paper. But this is the week that we went to San Francisco. There wasn't a lot of planning happening for sure, but this was like an epic trip for us, and we had so much fun there. It was better than the last time we went to San Francisco, I think mainly because I wasn't as afraid of flying. I'm still, I don't know, I wouldn't say like I'm a seasoned traveler or anything. We had like a wind event that week, and we hit constant turbulence the whole way out to California, so that was a very anxiety-ridden flight for me. But after that I was fine, and the other flights were great, and I had so much more of a better experience with flying this time that I actually ended up booking a flight for our anniversary, which is in February. So it's my husband and I's 25th wedding anniversary, and I am very much a person who likes to plan things and be careful about things, and I'm not very spontaneous about big decisions. But I hadn't had anything in his stocking yet, and I had the idea Christmas Eve. I was like, what if I like booked a flight for our anniversary as a surprise to him? Wouldn't that be fun? And so I ended up researching. So it wasn't exactly spontaneous, because I also wanted to know like where we would go, because it's February and it's going to be cold. So I didn't want to go a cold place, and I didn't want to spend as much money as going to California was going to take again. And I was like, well, maybe we should just do something completely different. And so I chose to go to Charleston, South Carolina. And so I booked the flight and then printed out the flight and put that in his stocking for his like Christmas stocking present. We ended up having Christmas Day later in the day because our oldest daughter, she works at a nursing home, and she wasn't off until 2 in the afternoon. So it gave me more time to like research. And then after I gave him that, we researched and booked a hotel. So our flight is ready, our hotel is ready, and we actually have reserved our seats for dinner for our anniversary day, which it's hard to get in, especially because it's Valentine's Day is our wedding anniversary, which isn't as romantic as you might think. But yeah, so all of that is ready to go. This is a hot mess. So everybody started feeling sick, and we were worried that it might be what it ended up being. And so everybody has like gotten positive throughout the week. And this was me. I'm trying to move away from using this felt pen. As much as I like it, and as neat as I think that it makes my handwriting, it's again like the friction. I don't like only having one pen. I want to try to do other things. It does take a minute for it to dry to be able to highlight over it. And it's not the cheapest way to write. And then there's only so many colors that you can choose. With these, I really like these, but it's got like a soft touch to it, and it kind of peels off rather easily. And so the ones on Amazon are not as inexpensive as these. It's like this one and a green one and a pink one. And I feel like it's another color that you can get at Target. And there's different packages that you get on Amazon. I've wanted to use the same pen that other people have known and loved in the Hobonichi weeks, and that's the Uni Jetstream, although I can't handle the 0.5. I have to use a 0.7 instead. And so that is this. And then this and these. It's funny because I took out an old weeks that I've been pulling the pages out of, and I did test this pen and this pen, and I thought this one looked great. Like, all test pages are great, but then when I go to actually write in my planner, I feel like it doesn't look right. And I don't know what that is, but it's definitely a problem. So this was just my reminder that I wanted to do a flip through of this planner at the end of this year, and that I wanted to do a video on what I'm using for 2022, which I have added to, well, not officially because it's not the first yet, but hopefully I'll share a video soon of that if I can keep my crap together. This is where I had pre-decided that I was going to use these colors for the month of Tombow, which I did not follow. So for this year, I've changed that. I actually have already gone in and decided the first 3 colors of the month, and I have my month set up so far. Interestingly, it's these 3 colors that I didn't end up sticking to last year. So hopefully I'm more successful this year, but I've left the rest blank. I'll show you guys that soon in another video. This is when I was trying to keep an index. I really suck at that. This is something that I like to do every year. I actually didn't reproduce this. This was for last year, Christmas, and I just carried it over into the 2021 planner so that I could look back and see what everybody got for Christmas. I didn't end up actually referencing that, but I forgot to make the spread for 2021 inside my planner. So I have in my back pages set up this for 2021 and this for 2022 so that I remember to go back and use it. This was a house tracker, and I didn't like the way this looked. I tried using it. I tried keeping up with it. I wasn't the greatest at it. I did read one more book on the plane. I really love reading, but not very successful this year with reading. But I do have a reading challenge for myself of 1 book a month, plus I'm reading through the Bible for 2022. And I'll share with you this for 2022 when I get to my setup video for that, which I know I already did one, but I've changed so much that I'm gonna make another one. Anyway, movies watched. We're not really big movie people at all. And then I did not keep up with the TV series, the wish list, or the purchases. I came up with this one day and spent forever setting it up, and I did reference it a few times. So I referenced this page 5 weeks into the year, 8 weeks into the year, and then week 42 when I really had the epiphany of why rings wasn't going to work for me anymore and why I appreciate a bound book. This did not keep up with at all. And then moving on to I don't know, it started out as kind of a bullet journal kind of situation, and it ended up just a full-on journal. This video is taking longer than I thought. I thought I was going to have a really short one for you guys. Sorry about that. I feel like you can't ever make everybody happy. Somebody's like, yeah, I like this really short video, and then somebody else is like, why did you not take me through all the pages? So it's whatever, I guess. So I tried a couple of different things trying to find my happy place here. In the end, I feel like I don't have a lot of busy days that require a bullet journal to-do list for every day. And when I finally stumbled upon, oh wow, I have a journal in the back of my planner, that is what really clicked with me and worked really well. So most of this is journaling in the back from there. And I liked that I was actually incorporating my fountain pen into my weeks, because I don't like using it in the planner portion. I really like using these Sarasa Grand, the vintage ones. I love using those pens. And that was way too bold of a fountain pen ink. And this is, I think, where I started using the U-Brands felt tip pen, which I'd had forever in my pen cup, but I just hadn't used it in my Hobonichi weeks. This is when I thought for sure I was an Enneagram 8. I'm actually, I guess, after all of the years of trying to figure it out, I guess I'm an Enneagram 6, but I'm an Enneagram 6 who doesn't act like an Enneagram 6. I'm of the tri-type, for those of you who know Enneagram stuff, 4-6-8, which is the truth teller. So I usually either act like a 4, which I thought I was for a long time, or I act like an 8. I don't act like a 6 very much, which is why it was so hard for me to find out what my Enneagram type was. I'm also an ESTJ, but I'm a weird ESTJ that doesn't act like an ESTJ. So I'm basically an ESTJ that feels like an INFP. It's been really great learning about these things because things are finally making sense to me. This is where I started breaking up my journaling space so that I didn't feel like stressed about filling up space. And I love this. Definitely gonna keep up with this one. Instead of going through and making the 4 spaces though, I have moved to just making the 4 spaces and not making like a header at the top, so that if I want to go down one column and up, go down 2 columns for one day, I can do that. But it's like the Hobonichi cousin, but not as big in the weeks, and it works really well for me. Yes, so this is what I ended up with, and I really like that a lot. And then I had our San Francisco packing list, and then I went to go start journaling our trip, and I was like, but it's like so close to the end of the year, and I'd like to have like any of the thoughts, pictures, ephemera from this trip, I want them to be like with me for longer than just a couple of days. So I'm going to put those into my 2022 weeks. And so my journaling pages will start at the end of December, and then I'll be able to carry those with me for the whole year instead of carrying with me for just a couple of days. So I'm really excited about that. I only made it to page 112 for this planner, and I think that if I had started journaling sooner, that would not be the case. So I know that I'll take up more pages in this planner going forward for 2022. So we've got a lot of blank pages, and then a lot of crazy like pen test pages, which this pen, just the paper I love and hate. And the struggle that I have with pens is real. And so a lot of my pages in the back turn into crazy looking pen test pages that I never want anybody to see. And then I did try to utilize the My 100, and I feel like I could do a better job of this. I didn't remember it a lot toward the end of the year. I put one of the Midori index clips back here, and I'm definitely going to move that to my 2022 weeks to help me remember to go back there. But that is my weeks for the year. It didn't get like overly chunky because I don't use a lot of stickers. If I continue using this as a journal with more pictures, it will definitely get chunkier, but I don't use a lot of stickers in my planning pages, so I still think it's not going to be that bad. I think the most wear that my Hobonichi got was definitely in the back here, because I like to keep it in the clear cover. It was in the clear cover up until last night, when I just decided that I wanted to have it in the hide and seek cover again for the next year, so I took it out. But the wear that I have here at the back is from pulling it and pushing it into these tighter covers like this Gilio for the year. If I was only ever in one cover, I think that it would be a little bit better off, but I like to switch out covers. So, but it's not bad. It didn't rip. It's stressed, and you can tell that. But I'm excited that I was so consistent with one planner for this year. It wasn't 100%, but it was the most consistent I think that I have ever been in a planner, aside from like the regular little planners that I used to carry around before finding the planner community. And I'm hoping to stay just as consistent in 2022. I would love to be that person that just has a row of very filled and used weeks with all of those memories. I do have a line of weeks, but they are in different stages of use and consistency. So I'd like from here going forward to just be consistent, consistent, consistent. We'll see. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching this video. If you'd like to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Thanks so much as always for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Happy 2022, everybody. I hope you have a fabulous year. Bye, guys.